Today I want to talk with you all about Sézane and See New York. They are collaborating for the third time this year. If you didn't know, they've actually had two collaborations before, one all the way back in 2018 and then one which I did review myself in 2023. If you fancy looking at those videos and seeing what that collection was like, if you weren't around in the Sézane community back then I will leave those linked down below. But today we are discussing their 2026 collaboration. It's a big beefy one. I think it's bigger than the 2023 collab, and I have managed to gather all of the images, all of the previews for the collection that drops this Sunday, January 18th. I am anticipating it dropping in a couple of installments as they usually do with their bigger releases. So the initial drop is on the 18th and then the next one will probably follow the week after or a couple of weeks after that. If by chance you haven't heard of See New York before, they were founded in 2006, so they predate Sézane by quite a few years, and they are much more whimsical, boho, romantic. They use a lot of crochet, a lot of lace, quite avant-garde style, a little bit out there compared to Sézane. So if you do look at the collection, you'll probably be able to tell that they take on a lot of that See New York aesthetic into this collection. It is quite whimsical. It is quite out there and kooky in a lot of respects, and some people love it and I know some people hate it. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. But without further ado, let's get into the images and see what we've got this year. I thought I would start with the most infamous pieces, the pieces See New York are most well known for, and that has to be the patchwork and the quilting. So you can see from this we have a few different patchwork pieces in the 2026 collaboration. This is again the bread and butter of See New York as a brand, and you can see that this year's the new collaboration is focused on this cream background with this purple, red and yellow predominantly patchwork quilting, and it comes in a variety of different pieces. We have this top on the left here. This is like a peplum, almost like a jacket top hybrid. It is, I imagine, quite a thick material. These pieces usually are on the thicker side. I remember trying them in 2023. They were much more muted back then, so there was a lot of blues, a lot of light purples, lilacs and whites, but the material of the quilting is very thick and padded, and sometimes not the most comfortable, I will say. But this top is a little peplum with these little frills, 3/4 length sleeves, and then we have what looks to be a tote bag, which interestingly looks more like a white background rather than the cream of the clothing pieces, with the similar kind of patchwork. See New York are really well known for these birds as well. This is kind of an emblem of the brand. A lot of their pieces have these birds either sewn into them, embroidered or quilted like this. And then we have the jacket, which we'll get back onto in a second. We also have a couple of other pieces in this quilted patchwork design. We have a mini skirt in this really pretty, I think this is actually quite a nice, more subtle way of doing it. If you paired this with a white tee, something very pared back, and a brown pair of sandals in the spring, summer, I think that could be really cute. And then they do have some homeware pieces as well, this pillow and what looks to be a full-size quilt. Now, a lot of people were saying that the clothing pieces, specifically this coat, this long line quilted padded coat, looks horrible. It looks like a quilt made into a jacket. And I fear the people saying that have kind of missed the point, because that's exactly what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like a quilt that you would put on your bed made into a coat and a jacket. And yes, that's not going to be for everyone, but honestly, I think it's really fun. It's whimsical, it's out there, it's avant-garde, it's interesting, a lot more interesting than a lot of the other pieces we've seen from Sézane over the last year or two. It isn't going to be to everyone's taste, but if it is your taste, I think it's a really fun way to get a piece like this at a more discounted price, because See New York is definitely more premium, more expensive than Sézane. So it's a really great opportunity for people who are fans of See New York as a brand. They love the design, but maybe they can't afford the price points, to get a piece at a little bit more of an affordable price. So I have no doubt that this coat will sell out. As many people as there are online on Facebook and on Reddit I've seen are saying it's horrible, it's ugly, it's hideous. I have absolutely no doubt that this piece will sell out like that, because they probably make it in quite small quantities as well. It's such a striking piece. And yeah, this will go like a flash. So if you are interested, if you're one of the few people who do like the coat, then definitely get there at the opening time when the collab drops, because this will be gone quickly. Next up, we have something a little bit more subtle. Now they're using this collar on the left, this knitted collar. It's like a detachable knitted collar, a lot in the styling of this collection. It is very See New York. They have pieces like this on their website as well. I'd be interested to know if this will be for sale. I have a hunch it won't be. I have a hunch that this is either a See New York piece or just a personal piece, a piece that they used to style the collection. But it is featured in quite a lot of the imagery. I personally think it's quite cute, especially when layered under a jacket. I'm not sure about this, where it's above the dress, because you can clearly then see that it is just a detachable add-on. But when it's layered carefully, subtly under like a top, a jumper, or a coat, I think it can be quite effective. This dress is one of the pieces as well. It's like a puff sleeve, floral, black and multicolored dress. And then they also have the same dress paired with this little vest, this knitted gilet. This is really cute. I really like the color of this. It's that beautiful kind of ochre color. Really gorgeous with some embroidery on it as well. That's a better picture of it there. So both of those pieces, the dress and the gilet, will be part of the collection, but TBC whether the knitted collar will actually be for sale. Moving through, we have some more darker pieces. This collection is kind of split into two halves. We have some really light pastel shades and some very bright kind of spring-like colors, and then a few very dark, more gothic, vampy pieces as well. So they are catering to different clientele. We have this black peplum top with this high collar. It's got quite an exaggerated ruffle collar. Not my favourite personally, but it does have this really cute little ruffle at the peplum. I really do like that shape, that cinched kind of bodice, and then the little frill at the waist. It looks quite cropped as well. So it looks like it would sit quite nicely at the waist rather than being too long. But I'm not a massive fan of these big collars. I just find them a little bit uncomfortable. And I do think, although it doesn't look too extreme in these pictures, I've seen another picture of this top where you can really tell that the collar is quite pronounced. They also have this little vest thing, which again is in a similar design to the dress. I'm not sure it's exactly the same, but definitely a similar color palette. Another interesting layering piece. It does look really pretty with the black top as well, but I'm not sure how wearable that one is in particular. Some more images I found of some various different pieces from the collection. Let's go into a little bit more detail on these. The first one being this cape jacket situation. This looks very similar to pieces I've seen on See New York previously. This will sell out like that as well. This will be really popular. I'm anticipating this being one of the most popular pieces from the collection. Again, they have layered that knitted collar underneath, and this is where I think that styling works. Over the dress, I'm not convinced. If we go back to it, I'm just not convinced it looks quite right, because it just obviously looks like it's just a collar. Whereas if you layer it correctly under a jacket, under a jacket collar like this, it looks like it's more part of the jacket itself, and I think it can work really well. But I think this jacket is really pretty, and again, will be one of the most popular pieces. I love this cape detail. It will probably have some detail on the back as well. Often the See New York pieces do have this cape-like design, and then they have some writing or embroidery on the back. I think this is really cool. These next two pieces are quite different again, so I feel like the collection is a little bit all over the place. It doesn't have one clear theme running through it. I remember in the 2023 collection, it felt a lot more cohesive. It felt like it was almost all one colour palette, a lot of the same florals, a lot of the same designs, just in different silhouettes and different clothing items. Whereas here we've got really gothic vampy pieces, we've got the patchwork quilting, and then we've got pieces like this, which actually look more like they're from a previous Sézane collaboration, the one with all of the cross-stitch kind of grandma-esque designs. It looks very similar to that. We have this very folksy top, billowy, almost looks a little bit Doan vibes with these roses on it, and then a similar kind of style dress, again in this kind of cross-stitch design. It is pretty. I think I like the dress a little bit more than the top. I love this almost kind of violety blue. It reminds me of Parma Violets, this colour. It's slightly more blue, but it's a very soft, pretty blue. I do quite like that, and that's in a midi maxi dress form. And then we have some suede pieces, again, quite different again. We have this suede mini skirt. This again could be from a different Sézane collaboration. It reminds me of one that was last year, kind of over the summer. Comes in this mini skirt. It doesn't feel very See New York to me. It feels a little bit more Sézane than See New York. And then this cape, it looks to be, again, a blue suede cape. So quite out there. You could wear it as a matching set. You could wear it separately. Not my favourite pieces of the collection, because I just don't think it's very See New York-esque. Moving on, we have this red set. These are the only pictures of it, so you'll have to use your imagination a little bit to imagine what the trousers are like in full form. But we have this embroidered collar top in this beautiful, rich, it's not quite a burgundy, but it's somewhere between a true red and a burgundy. I really like the colour, unless it's heavily filtered. I will say we can't be sure when we're talking about Sézane, but I do, on first impressions, really love this shade of red. red. It's almost got like a burnt orange tinge to it. The collar is very pretty. Again, people are saying this is a little bit unwearable. It is a bigger style collar, but I think if this is your style, if your style is a little bit more out there, you can easily pull this off for day to day, especially the top. I feel like a top and jeans, you can kind of wear whatever, no matter how extravagant the top is, if you pair it with a simple pair of trousers or a pair of jeans. The trousers, you could wear it as a matching set if you wanted to go all out, but again, we're not quite sure what the trousers are going to look like in full. We just know they have this embroidery detail on the bottoms of them, and those shoes are just Sézane shoes. Moving on, we have some more darker pieces. This mini dress is probably one of the more simpler items in the collection. If you want a little piece of the collection, but you want something a little bit more pared back, easier to wear, then this dress is probably a great option. It has this very folksy kind of Chloe boho silhouette to it. It's a mini dress, but it's almost this like shift, billowy, loose dress. You could belt this definitely, but you could also wear it just open like this, and it's got some embroidery details on it, but again, it's quite subtle, quite monochrome, definitely more pared back. And then we have these really interesting jeans. They look like jeans to me. They look denim. Black denim with these white embroidered flowers down the side. These are really cool. I think if you can fit into Sézane jeans, if they suit your body type, these are an interesting piece. Again, they have that touch of See New York, that touch of whimsy, but they're not too out there, not as out there as the patchwork pieces. This piece is probably my favourite from the collection. I'll be surprised. I'm always drawn to a white neckeroo, a lacy kind of knitwear piece. Again, I think this piece will instantly sell out. This is going to be so popular. It's universally flattering, right? It's an easy piece to wear, a lot easier than a lot of the rest of the collection, but it has so much intricate detail to it that makes it feel really special nonetheless. You can see that all of the detailing, unlike a lot of Sézane pieces, it's also on the back of the garment as well, which I know a lot of people miss in some of the regular Sézane pieces. It will no doubt be a little bit more expensive because it is See New York and because the detail is carried onto the back, but I do think it's worth it for a piece like this. I'm hoping this is a cotton merino blend. It looks like it could be. I'm hoping there's no synthetics in there, but it has a very pretty detailing to it. I'm not sure if the shorts are going to be part of the collection. I don't have those, I don't have an image of those on their own. So TBC on the shorts. They do look like they could be See New York, or they could just be a personal piece. You never quite know. This dress as well blew me away when I saw it. It's absolutely beautiful. It's definitely not as wearable as the knitwear piece. I could definitely see myself wearing this with a pair of blue jeans. This dress is a little bit more delicate. It feels like it could be a little bit high maintenance to wear, but it is so pretty. And you can see that it's a white dress with long sleeves, but it actually has this overlay. You can see in the picture on the right, it has this almost like waistcoat overlay with these tie sides to add some layered effect to it. It's very interesting. I'd be interested to see this in person. I'm not sure if it's going to be see-through on these crochet bits. You can see where the crochet goes down. Is it going to be see-through? I'm not sure. It's one of those pieces that I would really have to see in person, but on first impressions, it does look very interesting. And again, I think it will be a popular part of the collection. Moving back to some more black pieces, this is the same top that we saw earlier, and you can see what I mean about the collar. It looks way more exaggerated in this shot. I don't know if it's because she's kind of slouching her neck down, so it looks like it appears higher on her neck, almost to her face, but either way, it definitely is a very high ruffled, dramatic Victorian collar. A little bit too much for me. The skirt is a black ruffled tiered skirt, lace skirt. Feels very See New York. Again, very lace, very gothic. They do lean quite gothic, especially in the autumn winter. This jumper here, I actually believe is part of the See New York collection, not the Sézane See New York collaboration. I have seen this on the See New York website before with this white lace kind of sailor collar. It reminds me of the sailor collars Sézane has been doing. They probably did that as kind of inspiration. Inspired by this piece. The Sézane one is just a little bit more simple and definitely less expensive because it isn't really a crochet or a lace, it's just a plain cotton. But yes, that's the skirt. And then we have some of the denim pieces. So there is denim in the collection as well. First off, we have what looks to be like a denim shirt, denim jacket situation. It's a little bit more difficult to see in this picture. I do have a better picture in a second, but it does seem to be a matching set with this denim skirt. So it's almost like this grid pattern imprinted on this darker wash denim. Quite interesting, but again, a lot more wearable than some of the other pieces. This shawl, this lace shawl, has definitely caused some controversy from what I've seen of the reactions to the collection. People really hate this, a lot of people. I personally just think it's a little bit of fun. It's imagery, it's not necessarily supposed to be uber wearable. It is a campaign shoot, it is supposed to inspire, it is supposed to be a little bit avant-garde. I think it's quite fun, and these lace shawls, these lace scarves, are going to be really trendy in 2026. The top that she's wearing with the skirt is also part of the collection. This is a look at the back as well. It's kind of hard to see exactly what it looks like. It feels very detailed. Again, similar to the dress, it feels like it almost has this overlay, this lace overlay over a regular white shirt, which I think is really interesting. It almost looks like you've layered this lace gilet over the top, but it's actually all connected. Again, I'm very interested in trying that piece myself. Here's a better look at the denim. So you can see it's like a denim jacket and skirt. That might be jeans actually. Maybe they're going to be jeans. It looks like jeans, right, in that picture, whereas this is obviously a skirt. So maybe you're going to get jeans, jacket and skirt. And they all have this grid checked pattern, blue checks, kind of, I don't know how to say it, a blue grid over the dark denim. And then it also looks like there's going to be a denim tote bag to match. I imagine this denim tote bag will be one you can buy. There is a tote bag that comes free with orders, but it's not this blue denim one. Moving on, we have some more pastel lighter tones. This probably is my least favorite of the collection. This color I just think is quite difficult to pull off. I think you have to be a very specific skin color and hair color to pull this very light peachy pink off. I'm not even sure it looks that great on the model, to be honest. I think this color is just quite sickly looking. It looks almost, yeah, just very sickly sweet. They also seem to have this scarf. I don't know if this will be part of the collection. This, again, this embroidered, almost cross-stitch designed scarf. Not sure, I haven't seen that in any of the other imagery, but that is that jacket. We also have some shoes. These feel very Chloe to me. These are quite cool, actually. Definitely too high for me personally, but if you don't mind a bit of a chunky heel, I think these are really, really cool. I love the contrast white stitching on them. I love this interesting cutout detail. They are definitely quite hoofy. They're definitely quite horse-like almost, but I think, again, if you have that more avant-garde style, if you have that more boho style, these could be a really cool addition to a wardrobe. Moving forward, we have some more of these crochet pieces. To me, these could be from any Sézane collection. Sézane love like a doily, lacy, off-white kind of crochet like this. I've seen so many pieces over the years that look almost identical to this top. It doesn't blow me away. It doesn't really interest me, to be honest. I actually don't love that the buttons stop halfway down. They stop just under the bust. So all of this bit you won't be able to button up. So I just think it's not going to be the most wearable thing unless you don't mind having the majority of your midriff on show like she has. And then the dress I also don't really like. I just think it's not the strongest piece in the collection. It also looks really short on her. But yeah, just not my favourite, this like off-white beigey colour in this lace. It just always looks a bit dirty to me. Some more pieces that I couldn't find any model shots of, but I could just find these flat lays of. Again, this colour palette is definitely not my favourite. These are some of my least favourite pieces in the collection. Maybe that's why they chose not to model them for the previews. We've got this bomber jacket in what looks like a satin fabric. These colours I just think are quite awful, to be honest. Similar with this jacket, I really am not a fan. And I included this shot as well because I noticed that actually there are a couple of pieces on this ad that I couldn't find anywhere else. So on the middle left, we have this top, which I think is similar to the dress we saw in this cornflower blue with the cross-stitch detail. That is a top version, I believe, of that similar style in the dress. And then middle center, we have this almost like peplum style white blouse with this embroidery detail, similar to another piece we saw, I think, earlier on. I can't remember what. Oh, that scarf. Yeah, that scarf they had tied around the neck had that similar kind of pink and green flower design. This looks quite wearable, quite pretty. Definitely a lot more wearable. It reminds me of the Andean clothing collab from Sézane last year. Definitely more wearable than some of the other pieces. And then finally, on the bottom left, this cardigan here, again, this creamy beigey cardigan with the floral design. I didn't see that anywhere else, but I saw it included on this ad. So I believe we've covered the entire collection. And then I had to mention the free gift with orders on Sunday the 18th will be this tote bag. And you can't really tell from this picture, but it is actually quite a big tote bag that has this drawstring closure. So unlike a lot of their totes, you can actually close it, which I think a lot of people will quite like. I always find that these colours of tote bag just get dirty really quickly, so they're not my favourite. I prefer a darker tote, but it is going to be free, so you can't really complain. that is the collection in full. At least those are all the images I could find. I'll be interested to see if I've missed any, if there are any surprises when the first installment of the collection drops on Sunday. I will leave the lookbook link down below if you would like to browse the lookbook on Sézane's website, but do be warned that a lot of these pieces aren't featured in the lookbook that's available currently for whatever reason. Maybe they're going to update the lookbook tomorrow on Friday, because that's usually when they release their lookbooks, on a Friday. So if they do update it, when it's live, I'll put the updated lookbook link down below as well. Let me know what you think of this collection. Are you a See New York fan? Do you love the whimsical, romantic nature of these pieces, or are they not your cup of tea? I would love to know. Again, it's a very divisive collection. People either love it or people hate it, and I would love to know which side of the fence you sit on. Personally, it is a little bit of me. I do like it. I love that more kind of romantic, like feminine style that Sézane does, mixed with the avant-garde interesting nature of See New York. I think it makes quite an interesting collaboration. Definitely all of the pieces are not for me, but there are a few I will definitely be picking up to try. Hopefully, fingers crossed, if I can get my hands on them, because no doubt it will sell out in seconds like the 2023 collaboration did. I hope you're all doing really well and you enjoyed seeing the previews in this video. Please give the video a like if you found it helpful. It does take a little bit of time to go through and collate all of these images together and make this video, so if you do appreciate it and you would like to see videos like this on future collaborations and collections in the future, then a like goes a long way. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!